Introducing Zentrix AI-powered trading signals service. Tired of second-guessing your trades? Zentrix AI scans the markets 24/7 with powerful, proven indicators built to give you clarity. You get 200+ signals every day on 15-minute, 1-hour, 4-hour, and daily charts. We cover Forex, crypto, commodities, indices, and stocks, so you're covered no matter what you trade. And the best part, you get all this delivered 3 ways, every day. Web alerts give you fast, clean access right from your dashboard. Telegram delivers real-time entries, confidence levels, sentiment, and trade duration. And email gives you the full breakdown, including 2 profit target levels and deep market analysis. Just hold $5 worth of ZTR. See what you can achieve with powerful AI trading intelligence by Zentrix. Try it now. And join our Telegram channel.
Okay guys, what's up? Welcome back to... Okay, what's up guys? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, share it with your friends. And of course, any questions, any charts you want for me to look at, or any positions you're in, you want my opinion or other people's opinion, drop it in the chat and we shall discuss. But I hope everyone is doing well. What is up? Nuki, hope I'm saying that correctly. Forex Trader, welcome to the stream. Coffee Spinner, my man, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. As always, guys, we'll start with the USD side of things first. Take a look at the DXY, USD majors, and we'll go through gold and silver. Of course, if you do have any requests, like I said, drop it in the chat, or of course, any other questions, drop in the chat and we shall discuss. But it's been a bit interesting the past 24 hours. Seen some interesting movement. What's up, CS Integrated? Welcome to the stream. So we'll get straight into it. So first thing is first, we've got the dollar. So the dollar's looking pretty bearish. We had a bit of a reaction at the highs and pretty much the range continues. So we've got equal highs more or less around here. We've got equal lows more or less around here. And basically, dollar has been ranging. Dollar has been ranging between these two areas. And until we get a sustained breakout of the highs or the lows, I'm a bit more neutral at this moment in time. I'm still leaning to the bullish side of things because price is still creating these high lows. But I'm not looking for any opportunities to actually get into any USD pairs until I see something like this happen and price clears the highs, because that will tell me that, okay, this is probably our bottom for this massive pullback price is going through, and probably at that point we are going to start pushing back to highs at 100.2. If price continues to range, then of course we're going to be back and forth, shorts at the highs, longs at the lows. Makes sense. You can pretty much mirror that on euro dollar, which we'll take a look at in a moment. But at the moment in time, price is still respecting resistance and looks like we're headed back to the low of the range. And then we'll go from there again. Does price break through? Does price respect and come back up? Who knows? We'll have to see how price gets there and what we do when we get there. But at the moment, dollar is still very flat for me, so I'm not going to really have an out-and-out bias for this pair. As I said, coming into the week, if we do break to the downside and break through the floor, I will be pretty bearish. Then I'll be looking at continuations back into the prior low. Or if price does break to the upside, I'll be very bullish and looking for continuations back into the prior high, which will take us to 100.2. So no matter really what the play is for the dollar, we're either going to go back to swing lows or swing highs. And at the moment, we are ranging. So it's up to price to make up its mind. Do we break to the upside, see momentum, or do you break to the downside and see bearish momentum and we continue lower? We'll find out. But at the moment, we're in between the sticks here, between the two key levels. So in the meantime, looking to short at the highs, buy at the lows makes the most sense before we do eventually get the breakout. And taking that into euro, we can literally see that copy and pasted over here as well. So we've got the equal lows over there, equal highs. Price is still ranging between these two areas. So again, yesterday we made the point that price was at this low. I said this is a very critical zone yesterday for euro. Depending on what we do, we could either be looking for some longs for a push back up off the low of the ranger, of course, or waiting for a breakout, either shorting on the breakout, or of course looking for retests and continuations. And then the target would be a push to the prior low price swing low down at 1.14. As we can see, in hindsight, we got the first situation, price respecting support, and a really strong push to the upside. That happened as we came into the New York session. Price started picking up momentum, and we saw a pretty strong shift to the upside there. So with this price action, with that rejection, again, I would say it's a bit late to be getting to the market now, especially as we do reach some lower time frame areas of resistance and supply. So I wouldn't really be looking to jump into the market now. As I said yesterday, this is the area which we want to be looking to enter, whether you're looking for breakouts, retests, or just for price to reject that level outright, which of course is what happened. So if you're looking for opportunities again for Euro, I would wait for another push into support. Again, whether we get that or not, that's a different question. But in terms of finding a safe place for an entry and a stop loss, it would be as close as possible to those areas. Here's where we could potentially consolidate. We can be back and forth. We will see more indecision in these type of areas. So with euro dollar, if this is another rejection, there's a very good chance we do push back to highs, and equally you see dollar push back to the low of the range, and then we'll go from there again. See what price does. Do we get the breakout this time? If we do, then the odds of us pushing back to the swing high, I would say, are pretty high. And likewise, if we do push back down and finally break the floor, then we're looking at a push into this area. So very, very flat for both euro dollar, DXY. A lot of USD pairs are quite flat at the moment, I would say. So we're kind of just waiting for momentum to pick up. But in the meantime, if you are looking for opportunities, especially in the low time frames, looking to pick the lows and looking to short the highs is the best way to tackle this market. Looking for like trend following opportunities is difficult because simply there is no kind of trend following right now. We are very, very flat. So yeah, I'd be quite cautious there with euro, especially entering any trades. Now, if you're already in, then you've got a very sensible trade going. Pound USD as well, nice reaction to the upside. We did see a strong reaction as we came back into this area of demand. Really strong move, and price is looking quite bullish, breaking through this counter trend line. So with this, potentially we are seeing the continuation of momentum from last week. Very strong push to the upside, very correct to move down. That area of demand did hold, did see us have a very strong reaction. Of course, USD weakness did help this out, and now price is looking somewhat bullish. I wouldn't say we're very bullish. I would say we're somewhat bullish because we are again still trapped in the range. So again, momentum I'm not really reading too much into when price is in these conditions. As I said, coming to the week, the most important areas for me are the high here and the low. Those are the two most important areas. So if pound, let's say pound was to pick up the pace and actually see a breakout, then that's something that I'll be very interested in. I do think price will be making its way back to 1.38 in the next coming days. And likewise, if we do break the floor here and do break to the downside, I do expect price to make its way back into support at 1.314. So either which way, there's an opportunity here for pound. I'm not so keen with price inside this range. If I was looking to trade it, my focus would just be looking to buy low and sell high, trying to pick the highs, pick the lows. I think price is quite choppy. Yes, we're seeing some evidence of some bullish momentum coming in, but altogether conditions are very, very flat. So I'd rather just wait for the highs and lows to be tested or broken through and look for opportunities off the back of that. So that's really where my focus is for pound, not so much what price is doing in between those two areas. But either which way, I do think there is opportunities here, especially if you're trend following, waiting for price to break highs and looking for opportunities after that, or lows, of course. I think you'll find some really nice opportunities on the breakout. For dollar CAD looking pretty bearish. Looked like that bullish move was just a correction. We did tap into this area, did see a slight move to the upside. Again, coming to the week, I did say I was not a big fan of this area for buys. Actually, last week I did say this was a nice place to buy, but that was before we had this really aggressive bearish move. And once we did have that, that was a big alarm bell, because typically if price is going to have a retracement, I don't want it to be as aggressive with that. That's one bearish candle engulfing like 15 previous candles there. That's a huge shift in momentum and a really aggressive selling pressure from sellers. So despite this being a nice area of demand, we had a brief consolidation, nice break to the upside with some healthy momentum. Despite all those positives and those confluences that do favor longs, that candle alone does really put me off the trade. And then we had a bit of a corrective move off that area, and then of course momentum picked up again for dollar CAD, and we're looking quite bearish at the moment. So again, for dollar CAD, it looks like things are shifting. This is still our swing low, which gave us the swing high, so you do have to be careful as price does come here. There's always that possibility we do push back up again. But what dollar CAD is doing is creating bearish structure now. We've got this sell, this correction, another sell. Coming into the week, I was kind of hoping to see if we can push back into resistance, perhaps look for some type of double top, and then the short. Looks like the market was just far too bearish to even see that. We had a slight up move before price continued. So I would suggest, again, if you're low time frame, I'll be looking at something like this for another move lower. Maybe support down here as a target, because of course that's our prior low, so there's a good chance price probably does at least bounce here, even if we are to break through longer term. But yeah, dollar CAD, I'm seeing clear momentum of the sellers here. Strong candle. Not seeing much conviction to the upside anymore, so things look like they are shifting completely. And yeah, I would suggest pull back some more downside, at least back to 1.374. Looks pretty likely there for dollar CAD. Aussie dollar, more upside for this one. We were consolidating for the most part the past couple of days. I did say if price does break to the downside, that's when I think shorts on the low time frames will look a lot better, because we're quite flat right now. But let's say price does break lower, then yeah, pullbacks, shorts back to the low makes sense. But coming into the week, I did say for Aussie dollar, we are really flat. So the best place to actually look to short the market would be just simply back at major resistance, which for me would be this level here at 0.656. That's the only area, and this area here, if that first level doesn't hold. Those are the only two areas which I think shorts actually do make sense, taking into consideration how flat the market is and how we're moving. And again, even if price does get here reject, I wouldn't be looking for a home run either. It would just be more so, okay, price is at clear resistance. If we see healthy rejections here, I do think we can see a push down, but I'm not expecting, I'm not expecting magic here. I'm just expecting a reaction, manage the trade accordingly. It might be a small move in your favor. It might be a big one. We'll find out, in hindsight. But those two areas make the most sense. Again, when we are flat, it's all about picking the significant areas, the levels which are higher up, away from the noise, and getting involved in those areas, or of course lower down as well. And yeah, it looks like price has broken to the upside out of this range, so perhaps we are going to see a bit of intraday continuation to get there, and then we'll see what price does give us at resistance. New Zealand dollar still operating within that channel. Last time I checked, that is still the case. We've got these lower lows joining up pretty well, and we've got some higher highs joining up pretty well as well. And yeah, price is still back and forth within this area. So again, since we have seen a pretty considerable rejection off the low, naturally I'm looking for us to push back to the high of the channel. I think by default that is a smart place for a short. You've got the previous lower highs collecting in these areas. There's a good chance another one could form, more or less an area of supply there. I think if price can get there and show some healthy signs of rejection, it could be another short to be taken advantage of there for New Zealand dollar. Of course, likewise, if you do break out, perhaps there's some nice buy opportunities off the back of that as well. So either which way, there's probably something to take advantage of there for New Zealand dollar. But what I wouldn't do is probably get involved now. I did say yesterday that if New Zealand dollar was to push back into support, yeah, I think buys will look good there, because of course you're right, the lows again. This will be a smart place to buy, smart place to put a stop loss underneath. I think getting involved here, you're asking for a bit of trouble. That's where we probably will see a bit of fluctuation. So yeah, when a market is in a channel like this, these are the two areas which my attention will be at. When we're at the middle, I kind of want to stay away or already be in a position. And in terms of gold, gold picked up a little bit momentum, but still looks stuck at resistance to me. This area here, we've been really corrective on the way up, so it hasn't given me too much confidence that gold's gonna fly. I mean, it could do, but we are quite corrective, so I wouldn't be surprised if we do have a bit of a meltdown. But gold still in that range, so not really much to speak about in terms of my personal interest in trading gold. As I said, see if the price does push back to highs at 34.30, or we push back to lows around 32.60. Once we get to one of those areas, then yes, I will be interested in trying to find opportunities. Apart from that, I'm not really interested. Really shopping conditions here, I'd rather stay away. So yeah, just keeping a close eye on those two levels. And in terms of silver, really nice retest, I must admit. We were talking about this area yesterday. Nice area of demand, of course, is where all the momentum came from on Friday. Lovely break to the upside, also breaking some structure there as well. And I liked how corrective we were as well, so I quite like that. So I did say a retest here could provide some nice buying opportunities, but I did say I wasn't expecting much. I'm actually surprised how impulsive we're looking. We're actually looking pretty good. It looks like we are pushing back to the high there, maybe back to the high there as well. So it looks like silver's still on the up. Of course, if you do zoom out to the higher time frame, the trend is still to the upside. So naturally, you do have that, that context of the market that we are still bullish. So naturally, buyers will have that advantage. And looks like that demand level has held up pretty well. We've broken through that counter trend line. Now we're seeing some momentum. So yeah, silver push back to 39 and perhaps even a push to 39.5 as well. But yeah, silver looking bullish. Maybe gold's going to copy that, but I'm not really interested with gold, to be honest, as we are still within that range, but hopefully that can end soon. Anyway, what's up, Sultani? Good morning. Hope you are doing good. Yusuf, my man, welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. What is up? CS integrated today and tomorrow's events will set a direction for the DXY. Hopefully we do have some news this afternoon, don't we? For the USD, I'm hoping that we do have a bit of. DXY has been really flat. We've been up and down, up and down. So for me, until we kind of break one of those two barriers of support and resistance, that's when I'll kind of have a clear-cut direction, at least for myself on the 4-hour chart. So I wouldn't mind some momentum today, actually. Hey, what's up, Bashi? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Appreciate the message, my man. Yeah, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. Share it with your friends, hit the bell. And of course, any questions, any charts you want me to take a look at, any particular time frames, let me know. Temel, what's up? Yep, Euro-Pound we can take a look at as well, no problem. Anton, indices, we can go through them as well, no problem. But first, guys, just want to shout out to our Perks platform. We will have information regarding the trading challenge, which I mentioned. Well, not really a challenge, trading competition, which I mentioned early in the week. We will be looking to provide some information in terms of just a Google sheet, which you can fill out if you are looking to participate. But again, just a bit of fun to get people using the platform, up to speed with it. And of course, there'll be cash prizes for best performing traders in that competition. But if you're not up to speed with the platform, I do have a full video breaking down how to use it, something we've been working on for the past few months. Our Perks platform. If you're not familiar with the platform and you want kind of a walkthrough how to use it, you're new to the platform and new to the idea of trading perps, I will actually link that video in my description. If not, you can just go to my channel. It's one of the most recent videos explaining how the platform works and all about perps trading. But the beauty of the platform is that it's very easy to use, very simple. If you've been trading kind of any other trading platform, you probably get up to speed with it pretty quickly. But the difference with this is you're trading from your Solana, your crypto wallets, your Solana Ethereum wallets. You can connect directly to the platform, trade live or trade demo. You can even connect with your email. So if you don't even have a wallet, you can connect. And the great thing about this platform, it's decentralized completely, so anyone can sign up from pretty much anywhere in the world and partake in trade. At the moment, there's only cryptocurrencies available. So regarding the competition, it will be trading cryptocurrencies, but up to you which cryptocurrencies you want to trade. But at the moment, there are only cryptocurrencies available, but FX, commodities, stocks, indices will be coming very, very soon onto the platform as well. And you do have some AI assistance as well, which is a feature we're really working on and something we're looking to improve in the future as well. But if you haven't checked out the platform, go and do so. And like I said, regarding the competition, we'll have some information regarding that tomorrow. So do look out for that on the stream. But even if you do miss it tomorrow, I will of course, be mentioning next week as well. But make sure you're on the stream tomorrow for that. But guys, yes, we will go through some requests. Yeah, Euro Pound 10 we'll take a look at indices as well. Okay, no problem, Bashi. Have a good walk, my man. Hope you see you a little bit later. If not, we'll catch you tomorrow. Anyway, let's go through Euro Pound. So Euro Pound is, yeah, a little bit choppy right now. I don't mind Euro Pound because I think there's actually a lot of downside potential for Euro Pound. The way I see it, we've had a big up move and price is now starting to roughly consolidate here. So I do think price is likely to push a lot lower. We're at major highs, major resistance, and the way I see it, this uptrend looks like it's running out of steam, hitting a bit of a brick wall. We do have a pretty solid level of support, which is keeping us bullish remotely. You got support there once, nice rally, support there twice, nice rally, support a third time. Not really a nice rally, but we did bounce from that area. So I think if this area can break, which I'm expecting it to do, the floodgates can potentially open. And we can see a bit of a bearish trend on the way down, perhaps mirroring this move on the way up, on the way back down to support potentially. But of course, you probably won't be targeting that far out right, but it's nice to know the possibility of where the trend could head towards. So in terms of opportunities for Euro Pound, I don't see much whilst the price is in this kind of mess. But let's say if we do pick up momentum and do see a breakout, I think that's when the opportunities do actually come into play. When we're looking for pullbacks, I think this would be a great place to look for a retest. It's been solid support, likely to be solid resistance as well. Continuation of these lower highs here. 1, 2, perhaps even a third one. That to me looks like a really solid opportunity. In the short term, there might be some buy opportunities. Price is now back at support again. So there might be a short-term buy to take advantage of, but I wouldn't be so interested in that because the last time we bounced here, this move looked really corrective and really kind of flat. We have seen some evidence of some nice momentum previously, but now we're looking quite flat. So I don't expect suddenly price to suddenly jet off to the upside and give us a big move. Sure, we might bounce here because it is a very significant level of support so far. So again, we might see another bounce. But I think the bigger move with more momentum will be likely on the breakout or waiting for price to break and pull back. And that could be where the bigger move is the bigger move in general. So yeah, Euro Pound, the way I see it, nice uptrend, starting to run flat. The only way I'll be interested in buys again is maybe if price does, for whatever reason, break to the upside well to show continuation in this uptrend. But unless we do that, I do think we're forming a bit of a top and a bit of a weird head and shoulder pattern, if you will. Kind of left head, right shoulder. And this, of course, is your neckline. So I'm kind of getting the reversal pattern there. It's not the clearest head and shoulder. It's kind of like a double top head there. So a bit of a remix, if you will. But it's the same sort of principle. Price has gone from making higher highs to now kind of equal highs, now lower highs. So the trend is kind of hitting a top to a degree. If we break that structure, break the neckline, I think there's a good chance we're on our way a lot lower. So yeah, that's kind of the take I've got for Euro Pound. We can go through some indices as well. Yeah, no problem, Bashi. Have fun on the walk. Stop doing cardio when I come here. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Need to release the belly flat. Yeah. Can't be a trader with a bit of belly fat. That's doesn't go hand in hand. I'm joking. But yeah, have fun in the walk, my man. Get your cardio in. It's important. Yusuf, thoughts on UJ, GJ Gold on 15? Yes, we can take a look as well. Coffee Spinner, dollar CHF, we shall take a look as well. I'll go through a couple of indices, and then we'll go through some of those USD pairs. So, yeah, US 30, lovely price action, I must say. Lovely price action. Really nice retest of this area. Of course, we had the significant breakout on the daily chart, weekly chart last Friday. Really convincing candle. And it's just as simple as it gets, really. Breakout, retest, continuation. Textbook stuff there from US 30. And now we're back at highs. So what's the next move? What's the next plan here? Well, we're back at all-time highs. It's not any highs. We're back at all-time highs. So typically, I'm not really looking to buy anymore unless, let's say, price was to revisit this area again, potentially form a bigger double bottom, maybe form a slight range here on top of the level, and then we see the continuation. So that by default would still be a nice opportunity for a buy. Yeah, besides from that, you're now waiting for price to actually break through resistance now and see some all-time highs, and then we can talk about continuation, because there is a lot of momentum. You know, we're seeing really clean push, pullback, looking for now another push to new highs. Then of course the plan would be looking for the next pullback. So with US 30, we're very bullish. I wouldn't be looking to try and sell. Yes, maybe a retracement is on the cards at some point in time, but we've just broken through such a significant level. I think now that that's done, there's actually a lot more upside potential now. So yeah, it's either we have that deep pullback back into support where we were at the start of the week, or we break the highs again and we look for pullbacks on top of that. But either which way, I'm only looking for buys there for the Dow Jones. And as for the Nas, looking bullish. I would say we're still kind of struggling at resistance, so it's difficult to look for buys here at the moment. Really nice move again on Friday, but we have formed somewhat of a consolidation since that's happened. So again, I'll be looking for signs of a strong shift, breaking highs well. That will give me confidence to say that, okay, the buyers are back in control. I'll be happy to look for a retest. You know, we did some lovely breaking retest patterns over here recently. I'll be looking to see if that can continue and take us back to the all-time highs, similar to the Dow Jones. So, yeah, indices to me still looking really bullish, expecting more upside. Stuck at resistance, so we need to see some evidence of price breaking the highs again. But once that happens, if that happens, we can look for pullbacks or even some buys in the breakouts. Not such a bad idea. And yeah, you got the all-time highs there as a target. Maybe watch out for this area. This might be a bit of a nuisance, bit of a supply zone, strong push down. I think if we can break through that on a breakout, that would be very nice. But besides from that, yeah, I'm looking for us to return back to highs. Okay, so we'll go through some of the USD pairs on the 15th for USF, and we'll take a look at dollar CHF as well. Raheel, Pound CAD, Euro CAD, USD, okay. We can take a look at those pairs as well. Let's go through UJ and the so UJ and the 15, not a lot to speak out. Last time I checked, we're still in the range. I think that is still the case. No. Yeah, of course, still in the range, but rejected the highs again. So more or less, you got the high of the range. If I get this out of the way, more or less, you got roughly the high there, roughly the low there. I've just drawn this level in because it has actually acted resistance on quite a few occasions now. So it's clearly a level which price is respecting. And of course, we did respect it again yesterday. But yeah, on the 15, I would suggest I'm kind of waiting for price push back into lows for another bounce. I mean, we are coming into some areas of support over here. You can clearly see there's been a lot of rejection here. I'd rather wait for a slightly bigger push, more extreme, because again, with a range, the idea is always trying to buy as low as possible, or it doesn't have to necessarily be the lowest point possible. But if you can wait a little bit longer, wait for a slightly deeper push, naturally you should. Or if you are going to take the earlier trade, be prepared that the market could go a bit deeper and manage that accordingly. But yes, we're at support. We did react earlier this morning with this wick here. That was just coming into London session. We did see a push up, but of course we're back there again. We might see another bounce, so I wouldn't mind keeping an eye on that. But again, personally, I'd rather wait to see if we can get to this low here. More significant of a push. We haven't revisited that since that move. I do think, again, logically speaking, this is an area which we could bounce from. Again, not necessarily banking on a huge swing back to the opposite end of the range. More so just taking advantage of a reaction at the lows. That's about it. So yeah, UJ conditions very, very flat. No direction really at play at the moment, at least on the 15 anyway. So the plan is looking to buy low, sell high, finding significant areas in the market and taking advantage of reactions off those areas. And you've got two there to keep an eye on. Like I said, I would prefer this area more so because it's more significant. But you could still get a bounce here as well. The thing about a range is it can be unpredictable at times. We could see price completely reverse there. You can see here last time we didn't see a push right back to the highs. we found resistance here and turned around. So it doesn't happen all the time in terms of price getting right to the extreme of a range. At the high or low, sometimes price will turn within the range as well. So that is a valid area of support to keep an eye on. Likewise with the level just below it, I think that's a sensible area for a buy. But yeah, USD JPY, you're just looking at playing support resistance really with these conditions. In terms of GJ on the 15, yeah, GJ on the 15, price hasn't been great here as well, I don't think. Yeah, it looks abysmal right now, I'm not gonna lie. Really, really difficult price action here. So again, if this was me, I would run for the hills with this price action. Horrendous stuff, horrendous stuff. Again, if I was looking to buy GJ, it would be at the lows here. We actually saw another bounce. Was that yesterday? Tuesday? No, that was Tuesday. We actually saw another bounce there for GJ at support. I would probably be looking at something similar happening again. I probably wouldn't be looking for any big move though, because I can see that every time price is bouncing here, we're actually going a little bit lower than we were last time. I mean, there we went slightly higher, but there is, to an extent, lower highs developing here. So if price does bounce here again, my instinct would be another lower high forms, and maybe price is getting ready for a break to the downside. I mean, maybe we do push back to highs and further. It's difficult to predict in terms of targets and where we could go, because we're not really trading momentum or trading range or trading direction. I'm also trading the fact that price seems to keep bouncing here. So how far price bounces is literally anyone's guess. It could be a huge move, it could be a slight move, and then we dump through the level. It is very much anyone's guess. So when I'm trading scenarios like this, I'm being a bit more conservative, just because, again, in terms of target, it's quite difficult to say, and actively managing the position is probably the way to do it. That way, if it's a big move or a small move, you're prepared for it. But anyway, I think it's still a sensible place for a sell, to be for a buy. Sorry, 198.4. If I'm looking to short the market, then yeah, I probably would wait for a push back into resistance up here as well. Seems to be prices rejecting that pretty well. I would guess we were likely to react there too. But there's no direction here for GJ. Even when I drop to the 4-hour chart, this price action looks really, really choppy, not really giving me much information in terms of what the next big swing will be for GJ. I would say arguably we're quite flat in general. Equal highs there mostly, equal lows here mostly. I would argue when we're in a range here, within a range. So yeah, really choppy conditions, but from a 15-minute perspective, that's the best I can see, to be honest. In terms of gold 15, that's looking really corrective, but at least there's somewhat of a trend to it. So you can see price has been forming some higher highs and higher lows, and we have been pushing higher. Price came back to retest that consolidation there. Lovely retest and a continuation. So yeah, I would suggest to still keep an eye on the same thing. Maybe a pullback to this range here. Once we create some new highs, a pushback there. As long as we're nice and corrective, react well, I think that's still a very valid place for a buy. You can see how consistent we've been with these higher lows. I would bet on another high low happening. Of course, it's an area of resistance, so I would be quite careful with targets. Looking to the left, this is definitely an area which price could sell off from. But at least we have some type of momentum, some type of bullish structure to follow, so we can take advantage of that. But again, be prepared for price to potentially topple out here as well. So gold looks remotely better. At least we've got some type of direction here. As long as we maintain those higher lows, so price doesn't push down and break this level here. As long as we keep respecting the lows, buys make sense. Yes, we do have a big level of resistance above our heads, so take that into consideration when you do have your targets. But there is a trend to take advantage of on the lower time frames. But yeah, gold of course still very, very choppy market, but there is a bit of direction there. And if you are looking at some trend following opportunities, you could probably take advantage of an opportunity there on gold. Just be prepared to watch out for that level, because we could very much sell off from there as well. But yeah, gold, really choppy conditions in general, so I'm not expecting free flow market or free flowing trend. We are still quite corrective. but I do think price could probably see another push higher, at least if we can make that pullback and respect that low. So yeah, on the 15, really choppy conditions for pretty much all the markets you recommended there, Yusuf. Not the best conditions. If I had to trade one of them, might be UJ, to be honest, just in terms of the cleanness of the range. It's very kind of straightforward. If I do see a good rejection at the lows, I think you can catch a nice bounce there. Gold, there is some of a trend, but because we're approaching resistance, that would probably put me off the trade a little bit. And then GJ just looks really, really, really choppy. Again, short-term moves, I think you can take advantage of that. But I think UJ just about edges it. And it's not edges it because it's looking outstanding, just edges it because it's slightly better than the rest. But yeah, conditions really, really flat. Maybe we are just relying on news this afternoon to get the ball rolling and speed things up. Let's go to dollar CHF next for coffee spinner. So yeah, dollar CHF looking bearish, I would say. At least because we are very consistent with these lower highs. I'll still say the market is quite flat. But to me, it looks like we're hinting at a break to the downside here. And the fact that we are pretty consistent with all these lower highs kind of does tell me that prices potentially getting ready for a break lower. But, I'll believe it when I see it, sort of thing. I want price to make the move then. Okay, we have broken lower. Let's talk about, a push back to this low and perhaps even push back to the swing low here as well. There is definitely that possibility there with dollar CHF. So if dollar is going to be weak, of course, that should help USD CHF, tank pretty much. But we have been trapped in the range, and that's why price has been quite difficult to trade. So for dollar CHF, basically looking for something like this to confirm the breakout, and then we can speak about some pullbacks intraday, retest of structure, and that could be some really nice pullback opportunities to ride that momentum on the way back down into support again. But yeah, I'd say dollar CHF's hinting at a break lower. We're not there yet. If I flick over to DXY quickly, DXY is still very flat in my eyes. DXY might sell off here, but it could very find support and come back up again. So I wouldn't say we've got the bearish continuation from a DXY perspective. So I wouldn't read too much into that. Which is why, I would wait for dollar CHF to really commit lower. Then we've got a breakout. Then we can look to follow suit. So, dollar CHF hinting at a move lower. Not confirmed yet. Let's wait to see if we can do that, can confirm it. Then, I push to 0.79 and 0.788 would be my targets. Pound CAD, Euro CAD, and Euro NZD we can take a look at next. Yusuf, yes, they caught the move up on gold and G. Nice. Move up on gold and you got stopped out by spread. Okay, unfortunate. But you were in the right direction for it, to be honest. You did catch, you got the right idea in terms of the move up. But that's unfortunate. It did get taken out by spread before the move up, and today all the pairs are horrible. Yeah. Again, that's a part of trading, Yusuf, as well. There'll be times where, you get the direction right, but for whatever reason, spread potentially, or maybe a bit of news happened, you get wicked out. You'll experience those kind of those situations, which are annoying, but it's all part of the game. And it's difficult to really amend that because, of course, you could say, okay, slightly wider stop loss, but there will be times where you do have the slightly wider stop loss and still get stopped out for a similar reason. Then you're like, okay, should I widen it more? Well, if you keep widening, your risk reward will decrease as well. So it is definitely a bit of a balancing act and kind of just, sort of taking the pros with the cons as well. But I think in terms of the move itself, difficult to, you were in the right direction, just unfortunate to get stopped out, really. I think that's the biggest takeaway. Maybe you could look at stop loss placement, but again, there's only so much you can do with that. No problem, Yusuf. Happy to help follow the trend. What is up? Hope you are good. I'm doing well. Thank you. Potential inverse head and shoulder pattern 4 hour on GA. Maybe we can go take a look at that. I'm very much just looking at GA in terms of the range it's trading in, but maybe there is an inverse head and shoulder pattern which I've missed. But we can take a look at that. It's got a few pairs to look at for a heel, and then we can take a look at pound Aussie. Humble TV, which one's best? SMC support resistance. Doesn't really matter, my man. It's more so the trader rather than the strategy itself, because if you kind of look at all the best traders ever to live, so many different techniques, so many different strategies, so many different methodologies. There's only one common theme, that they're all good traders. So whatever strategy you're using, it doesn't matter really at the end of the day. Of course, maybe some strategies are slightly better suited to you naturally. But for me, if especially you're a beginner, the best thing to do is to get a strategy down, learn it well, develop the skill sets and the traits of a good trader. And then if you do want to change up your strategy, add another strategy to it, you can do that later on, because the hardest part of trading is not learning a strategy. You could pretty much sit on the charts and probably learn a strategy within a couple of weeks, really. But to be able to deploy the strategy well, maneuver between different market conditions, manage trades well, manage emotions well, that's where really the skill set does lie. So strategy, not important. I don't trade SMC, so I can't really comment too much on that, to be honest, because I don't really know it. So yeah, just pick a strategy and focus. That's the best advice I can give you. In terms of pound CAD, this one's interesting. We have broke lower, but we're lacking momentum, so that's one thing I don't like. Because when price is going to break out, momentum is a big part of it for me. If price breaks through support, trend line, whatever technical pattern you're looking at, if price breaks out something, it's got to do with some emphasis for it to be a good breakout in terms of its characteristics. If price breaks through an area but it's very sluggish, not that breakout is not going to work out, but the probability of it doing so is a lot less than if price does range and then sees a confident close above something. That's something you can follow. But if price is going to range and then it kind of just dribbles out, that's not going to give you a lot of enthusiasm that price is going to rip to the upside. And that's kind of what pound CAD is doing. So if I'm looking at opportunities here for pound CAD, I want momentum to pick up. I want us to see a bit more strength with the bears, because we are looking corrective now, but doesn't mean we will stay corrective. Price could pick up momentum, show some more strength. If that's the case, then I'll be happy to look for some pullbacks and a retest of this area to get into a trade to short for a push down. Because for pound CAD, the move I'm looking for is basically another continuation of this range. We got equal highs up there, more or less equal lows down here. So the plan for pound CAD is, okay, we're rejecting highs. Let's see if we can push the lows. That is simply the plan. And we've pushed back to resistance. We've consolidated there. It looks like price is breaking to the downside. It's just the emphasis has been quite, a lack of emphasis with the breakout, a lack of impulsive price action, lack of big candles, a lot of wicks to the downside as well. So yeah, I would like a more convincing move lower to then look for opportunity to short. I would not be surprised if we do climb back above this area. This turns to be a bit of a fake out and we push back into highs. So I don't want to be caught on the wrong side of that. But that is what I'm looking for pound CAD. Breakout, retest, continuation. It's just I want a bit more quality on the breakout. Okay, so EuroCAD, and then we'll go to Euro NZD next as well. And we take a look at GA for follow the trend. Which one seems good to you? Well, I trade support resistance, so I would say that one. Also, UJ potential buy at the bottom of the range, also in an upward channel on the daily. Looking strong, but DXY I'm leaning way more bearish. Yeah, a bit of a contradiction there. I'll take a look at UJ in the 4 hour. Follow the trend. I'll take a look. Let me go through. Is it Euro NZD or EuroCAD? Nope, both of them. EuroCAD's actually looking interesting. I prefer EuroCAD a bit more to pound CAD. Very similar pairs, but I like the price action a bit more with bit more with EuroCAD. So both of them kind of showing signs of running out of steam, potentially forming a top, potentially coming back down. And I do think price can make a move back into this area. I'm looking at price here. We've taken out these highs. We've done it really correctively. Looks like we're starting to pick up momentum on the way back down again. We had this kind of channel here. And as you can see, price has now broken to the downside. So yeah, I'm looking for us to continue lower. I spoke about retest of this area here yesterday. I still stand by it. If price can pull back here, reject well, I think that's a great place for a short, especially intraday. And it looks to me that price has formed the top, to this bullish move here. So the plan really for EuroCAD is to keep shorting, find more downside. It's counter trend play, but it looks to me that we're in a bearish phase now. This bullish structure has ended. Now we're looking to see if this bearish structure can continue. And if you're looking for entries, that area makes the most sense to me. Of course, right now it looks like we're running out of steam, so I wouldn't be jumping into any shorts at the moment. But let's say if we can pull back there, I think that's a great place to position yourself. It doesn't have to be a push all the way down here as well. It could just be a very small intraday position, back to lows, call it a day, and on to the next position. But I do think there is room for us to fall into. So going forward with EuroCAD, I'm pretty bearish on this one. We just topped out towards the top end of this channel. Naturally, I'm expecting us to push to the lower end now, and then we'll go from there. I do think we're likely to break through as well, so I do have a pretty longer term bearish bias for EuroCAD, but we can speak more about that when the time is right. For now, this is all we're kind of looking at for EuroCAD. And as for Euro NZD, this one has been quite interesting, very bullish in the past few days, actually taking out these highs as well. I do think we are due a quite major correction. If I go to the weekly chart, you can see we've actually taken out the highs from COVID recently. That dates back to March 2020. So we're at some highs we haven't been for pretty much 5 years. And I do think we're due a bit of a correction, also seeing evidence of rejection up there as well. So longer term, I do think the sells is where it's at, but we have to be patient with that because the market is still showing strength to the upsides, consolidation, strength there, consolidation, strength there. So the bullish trend is still in full flow. So I wouldn't be looking to take shorts just yet. Of course, things were to change and bearish structure comes into play and I'm seeing, forceful bearish candles, then yeah, I would be looking to short, but we're too early to that at the moment. So for now, for pound, not pound NZD, Euro NZD, I do like the buys. We are still really corrective on the way down as well. Not really seeing much emphasis with the sells. That tells me that this is most likely a pullback as well. And you have a very strong area of demand just below you. Brief pause, brief consolidation, really strong break to the upside with all that momentum. So yeah, if price can come back and retest that, I think that's a no-brainer for a buy opportunity. Of course, provided we see some strong entry confirmations. I wouldn't just jump in because price is there. But if we reject well, wicks, bullish engulfing candles, I think it's a smart buy and targets back to where we came from. So for now, USD still kind of just entertaining the buys, but yeah, I do think longer term we're going to get ready for a really big sell. That could still take a couple of weeks, so let's not jump the gun with that. But yeah, for now, still looking to take price higher. In terms of pound Aussie, follow the trend you mentioned, the inverse head and shoulder pattern. I'm not quite seeing it unless you're talking about this, that being the head and shoulder pattern. So you got the left shoulder there, head, and then right shoulder, and of course that's your neckline. If that's what you're talking about, then yeah, of course I can just about see that, but I wouldn't get too excited about that because again, when I'm looking at inverse head and shoulder patterns, they're very effective at the top and bottom of trends, not in ranges really, because this is a very, very flat piece of price action and it's not really representing much of a reversal. These are reversal patterns we're not really reversing anything because we've been flat for so long. So I wouldn't really look too much into that. Not that the pattern can't play out. It is probability at the end of the day, but I wouldn't say this is the highest probable inverse head and shoulder you'll ever see. So I'm not really convinced by that. The way I see your pound Aussie at the moment, It's just we've got equal highs here, we've got equal lows here, and we're ranging between support and resistance, and we're kind of waiting for price to make a move, to the upside or to the downside. And opportunities, once that has happened, I feel like that's when we'll see a proper trend form. Yes, we'll come into some areas where we might find support here, but again, it's in a range, so I'm not interested. As I always say, in the middle of the range where you're going to get the most indecision. Price action is a little bit harder to read. Markets are slightly more unpredictable, more random wicks, difficult place to put a stop loss. You're just asking for a bit more trouble in these areas. So again, not to say that the pattern won't play out. It's just I wouldn't get my hopes high with it. Based on where we're positioned, not really probable. And again, maybe you're talking about some different inverse head and shoulder pattern, which I haven't spotted. But if it is that one, I'm not quite convinced. I'm looking at this more so as a range, really. So as I mentioned before, if price gets back down here again, I'll be happy to look for buys to take it back up. Likewise, sells to take it back down. And if we don't get either of those opportunities, then I'm waiting for the breakouts. But anything in the middle, not interested in. So yeah, that's kind of my take there for pound Aussie. Anyway, we'll go through UJ for follow the trend. New Zealand CHF, we can take a look. BTC, we can take a look as well. Good morning, hello, welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. I appreciate it. I'm grateful for the knowledge you always share on your live streams. I'm grateful that you guys are finding it useful, enjoying the streams, find them educational. That is music to my ears. But yeah, I'm glad you find use in it. And if you guys are enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and of course share it with your friends. That would really help the channel out. So I do really appreciate that. But yeah, BTC, UJ, New Zealand CHF, I will take a look at next. Is that a valid head and shoulder pattern? Yeah, I mean, technically speaking, it is, because you got your left, your head, and your right shoulder. So technically speaking, yes. But head and shoulder patterns, if you understand for what they are, they're reversal of a trend. They look for reversal of trends. So I would only take a head and shoulder pattern seriously if price has led to, if the head and shoulder has come from a trend. So for a regular head and shoulder, if you've got an actual trend leading to it, I'll get excited. Likewise, with a bearish trend for an inverse head and shoulder, I would get excited for that as well. In a range, I wouldn't be looking at head and shoulder patterns. Not that they can't play out. Again, they can. Markets, the funny thing about markets is sometimes you get some poor quality setups for whatever strategy you're trading. And sometimes those poor quality setups will play out and you're like, well, I took a really good trade here with a lot of confluence, there's a lot of backing, and that trade failed. So it's like, sometimes you do everything right, it doesn't work out. Sometimes you take a poor trade and actually did play out, and you're like, what's going on here? That's trading for you at the end of the day. So I'm not to say it won't play out, it could. It's just when I'm looking at head and shoulder patterns, I try to focus on trends. Yep, as if we will take a look at BTC. Please do not spam the chat. The chat is for everyone. If I do not look at it within 10, 15, 20 minutes or so, and it looks like I've forgotten, then of course remind me, but I will take a look at BTC, do not worry. New Zealand CHF, we'll go through that one next. So yeah, New Zealand CHF looking really bearish still. Again, this is a market which has a lot of upside potential. A few people have mentioned New Zealand CHF on the streams previously, saying that get ready for some buys, get ready for some big swing trades, and I agree wholeheartedly, because price is coming from, or is going to, all-time lows for New Zealand CHF, and typically when we're at all-time lows, we are getting ready to reverse and have some really major upside moves here, upside swings. So as a swing trader, if you can position yourself well, this could be some really nice buying opportunities. Equally, the market is still really bearish, and we could still keep falling a little bit further. That's the thing with bearish markets and all-time lows. You could always go a little bit further, and that little bit further could be enough to stop you out of your position. So you don't want to be taking unnecessary losses to try and catch a move, which is likely to happen 100%, but you don't know exactly where or when. So I'll be very, very patient with New Zealand CHF. You don't necessarily have to be the first one into the market here. In fact, you don't want to be the first person into the market. We don't have the account for it. People are looking to buy New Zealand CHF because they're expecting it to bottom eventually. Probably able to stomach some really big moves against them. With us, with our small stop losses, that's not our game. So unless you can have like a ginormous stop loss and be prepared to swallow up drawdown for long periods of time, I'll wait for price to start showing evidence of a trend first, and then I'll be happy to take some buy opportunities. So if something like this forms, that would be brilliant. This would be like a nice head and shoulder, inverse head and shoulder pattern, because number one, we've actually got a bit of a trend there. Your left shoulder, your head, right shoulder, perhaps a bit of a neckline forming, a retest of that. That could be a nice space for an entry. Of course, this is very hypothetical. I'm saying something like that would convince me for some longs. Of course, we're a long way away from that actually forming, so I'm not so interested right now. If anything, shorts actually make the most sense. We've got a bit of a consolidation, strong drop here. I actually think some shorts here could actually look good if we can see some healthy rejection. I think that's actually a nice short to consider. So for now, if you're looking to trade New Zealand CHF, I'll focus with the shorts for now. If you do have a bullish take on New Zealand CHF because of where we're positioned, I get it, but I think we're just way too early to be getting into any buys at the moment. If anything, sells are still where it's at for me. So 0.474 would be the focus. We got the previous all-time lows just below us over here. I wonder, can price go and take those out? I think we probably will. So yeah, pullbacks and more downside make the most sense. We'll take a look at BTC next. So for Bitcoin, Bitcoin's quite interesting. We did end up having a decent bounce off the area of demand we were mentioning yesterday and at the start of the week as well. Very nice area of demand here. Brief consolidation, really strong break to the upside. I quite like this area because number one, it's a strong area of demand. Number two, we took out some relatively significant levels of support, which of course a lot of people will be looking to buy from. So the fact that we did break to the downside through support here, naturally price is grabbing liquidity, stopping out some early buyers. That's an added confidence for the trade. And the way we got there was pretty corrective as well. If I drop to the 4-hour chart, we did have somewhat of an aggressive move, but that slowed down. We started to see some wicks and things did get quite corrective. So it was a nice slow descend into the level, which implied that we're not really seeing much selling pressure. We're coming to a major area of demand. We've taken out some early buyers. There's a good chance we do bounce here. And we have seen that bounce. But I also did say, don't get too excited, because even though, yes, we are taking out some support here, in terms of market structure, that's actually a bad thing for the buyers. We're actually technically breaking structure, and we just did that after a very strong double top pattern. So I would say things are starting to actually shift for BTC, and this could end up being a pullback for price to actually see some lower prices. So at the start of the week, I did say buys look good here, but be careful. I wouldn't get excited about pushback to the all-time highs. It could happen, but I wouldn't bank on it. We're forming double tops really aggressively. We're breaking lows. This is more so just a good place to buy rather than a place to continue a trend. So, and we're actually looking pretty corrective as well. We have bounced here, but it's not like we've flown to the upside. Things still look really choppy here. So I would suggest for BTC, the next move might be another sell. Push back into a nice area of supply. I could see us selling off back into the lows. I could see us selling off back into the lows. So if you're already in some buys, great, position pretty well. If you're looking for the next move, I'll probably be more interested with some sells here of BTC now. A push back into the lower high, back into supply, especially how corrective we're looking. I think there could be some nice shorts to take us back down into lows again. So Bitcoin, not looking too hot, I have to say. Not looking too hot right now. The buys have left the station, so if you're in the buys, congrats. If you're not, I think the next move is probably some shorts now. Maybe around 115, 116K. But we'll see how we get there and see how we react before really justifying that trade. But on paper, that's kind of what I'm looking at. Okay, so we'll go through... Yep, we'll go through UJ. No problem. I did forget that actually, but we'll take a look at UJ. Yeah, just a range. I wouldn't get too excited. Lebsy, what is up? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Already had a look at Aussie CAD. No, I haven't looked at Aussie CAD yet, but we can take a look at that together. Yusuf, thoughts on Euro and G15? Yep, we can take a look at that as well. Hey, what's up, Willem? Welcome to the stream, my man. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to have you on the stream. Any pairs you're interested in? Anything you're looking to trade? Anything that anything you're interested in? I want to see if anything changed for you since yesterday. Okay, we can discuss that, Yusuf. Anyway, let's take a look at UJ. So dollar yen. See, dollar yen incredibly flat. I pretty much agree with your analysis. Follow the trend, because if I look at the wider picture, the bigger picture, there is somewhat of a slight uptrend here. It's not like market steaming to the upside, but we are slightly trending here in this kind of ascending channel. You know, higher lows, higher highs. So for the most part, I do think naturally looking to buy makes sense. Whether you're in the range trying to pick some lows of the range, or you're looking for a bit more of a swing position. I've also highlighted this area of demand here as well. I think that's an area to keep a close eye on. You can see if you look closely, nice push to the upside, brief push down, slight consolidation, and price continues to the upside pretty aggressively. This, you know, has a nice characteristic of an area of demand similar to BTC, which we just spoke about. You've got an area of demand there, which you saw some strength from. You've got some lows just hovering above. Price could potentially go and look to hunt those lows, grab some liquidity underneath them, stop out some early buys, and then potentially see a reaction to the upside, and basically just continue this ascending channel to a degree. So I think from a swing trade, this is actually a nice place for a buy, 145. Not only is price coming back to test the trend line again, where of course we have been putting in higher lows as we've seen, but also a nice area of demand which lines up pretty well as confluence. And yeah, generally speaking, there'll be a lot of buyers here. You can go and take them out and then see a nice continuation after. So I like the buys there. If you're just looking for short-term plays, trading the range here, let's say if we drop to the 50-minute chart, I did say, you know, this is a nice area of support. You know, price has rejected this area once, twice, a third time, briefly a fourth, and looks like we're trying to do it again a fifth time. So this is definitely a key level of support where price can bounce from and see a lot of upside. Likewise with the area just below us. So if you're looking for like short-term trades, try and take advantage of a reaction, this is where you're going to be looking for opportunities, because you're not trading direction here per se. You're not trying to trade momentum. You're not trying to trade continuation of anything. It's more so prices at support level, which we've seen a lot of evidence of price not breaking through, rejecting. If you can see some more evidence of that happening again, yes, I think this is a smart place for a buy, and same for this area here as well. How far we travel from here? You know, do we see a swing to the opposite side, or do we see a swing halfway, or is it just a slight move before we collapse? You know, I have no idea. It's difficult to kind of gauge that, especially in these conditions where, you know, we're just back and forth, and sometimes not even seeing the full swing of the range either. So, yeah, in terms of targets, it's a little bit difficult. I'll just say keep an eye on the trade, actively manage it. If momentum picks up well in your favor, great, can stay in. If things are not looking too good, candles closing against you, wicks going against you, maybe it's a sign to close the trade early. But yeah, picking up some buys from these areas makes sense. I just want to get too excited with, you know, big moves. I'll keep my conservative hat on. And if you're looking for more of a swing trade, then I think 145 is an area to consider if you're looking for a bit more like a position you want to buy for maybe a week or two. Well, man, that's if things go very well. It could easily be a day or two as well. So take that into consideration. But yeah, UJ, not my favorite pair, but that's kind of how I would look to tackle it. We can go through Aussie CAD next. It's integrated damn DXY. The USD pairs are all neutral, no man's land. The close almost sells for USD pairs and just wait for later. Yeah, I think that's a smart move. CC integrated. I'm in the same boat really in terms of not too sure what's going on. We're seeing strength one day, weakness the next day, and then strength again. So things are just being all over the place. You know, things are looking really bearish at the end of last week with that bearish, you know, with the news coming out on Friday. Then price found support, rallied on Monday, Tuesday, looked pretty bullish. Now, Wednesday we reject the highs, we're back down again. Of course, we're just literally describing what a range is, just back and forth. So in terms of directions, it's difficult. Intraday, of course, if you're just looking to try and call the tops and call the bottoms, I think that's where you're going to find the most luck. But if you're looking to try and catch, mood swings and trends, that's where you're going to find a little bit of difficulty here, because you might get into a nice buy and then price tops out and goes against you. You might get into a nice sell, price does bottom well, but then it does turn back against you. So you're struggling to find a continuation because, of course, we're stuck in the range there. So until price kind of breaks out for me, I probably will just stay relatively neutral. I have been looking for buys for the dollar for us to pick up momentum, but we're already slamming our heads against the wall there. So until that kind of breaks, I'm not really looking to place any positions just yet. And we do have some more news this afternoon, so that should be interesting as well. Anyway, let's go through Aussie CAD for Lebsy. So Aussie CAD, not paid too much attention to, I have to say. It has been really, really choppy. It has been back and forth, and I haven't really been the biggest fan of it. I look at the higher time frames. Yeah, it looks really flat to me. There's kind of like it's sort of like a range, but at the same time, it's sort of like an ascending channel to a degree. The way price is moving here. I mean, I'll probably just call it a range, to be honest. I need to overcomplicate things. There's a slight ascend to these higher lows. They're not kind of equals and flat. The highs are equal, but not the lows. The lows are slightly ascending. So it looks like price is kind of just trapped in this kind of environment. Eventually, we're gonna either break low or break higher. If we do break to the upside, probably looking at a push here. If we do break to the downside, probably looking at a push back into the floor there. But yeah, Aussie CAD, difficult pair to really trade unless you're kind of just looking to pick the highs and pick the lows. So if you're looking at opportunities, I wouldn't do anything here. That's not the areas I would want to operate in. I would suggest that's kind of no man's land. But let's say if price was to push back into resistance, we show some more wicks like we did over here, or even like we did over here, then yeah, that's a great signal to back up some sells and get some shorts again and just continue what price has been doing for the past couple of months now. And likewise, if we do get back into the low of the trend line, reject well here, then yeah, we're probably going to see another swing. So we're just going to anticipate price to keep doing that until it doesn't do that, really. I think that's the best way to trade it. And if you are waiting for break opportunities, if you are looking for trend following opportunities, then you're going to have to be a bit patient with Aussie CAD and kind of wait for evidence of us kind of breaking here well. And then, of course, then your kind of trend following opportunities should come into play. And likewise, if you do break to the downside as well. But if you are looking at trend following, you're playing momentum, you're going to have to be patient for that. If you're just trying to sell ranges and sell the top of ranges or buy the bottom of ranges, then you've got some opportunities here for Aussie CAD. But the one thing I would not do is look to trade anything in the middle here. That's especially a pair like Aussie CAD. Really kind of choppy, loves wicks. Yeah, it could easily get stopped out randomly, and that's just not what you want. So yeah, I would wait for price to approach resistance or support before getting involved. Rich Trader, please can you not spam the chat? If you do another message, I will just remove you, my friend, because again, you ruin the chat for other people. I will take a look at your USD, but do not spam. Okay, where was I? Yusuf, Euro and G on the 15. Yes, we can take a look. Like demand area you picked out there. Thanks, me, no problem. Follow the trend. Happy to help, my man. Yep, Euro we will take a look at as well. Currently just watching, don't have much. Okay, fair enough. But got to go back in the cycle. Yeah, Euro USD was looking juicy for shorts. If we reject 50, 200 EMA on the full hour, I'll get those up. I haven't actually looked at Euro in comparison to the moving averages. But now lack of momentum. Yeah, I mean, Euro's quite flat. Dollar's quite flat in general. So we're kind of stagnant at the moment. I think maybe some news this afternoon could help us out. But altogether, we look really, really flat. Okay, so we'll go take a look at Euro and G on the 15. I'll probably look at Euro in a bit more detail because we're getting a few requests for that as well. In fact, we'll start with Euro. How about that? Hopefully, rich traders happy now. So yeah, with Euro, we're already flat. You know, price respecting support, respecting resistance until we kind of make a move outside those areas. I'm not really interested with price. Of course, in terms of looking to buy the lows and sell the tops, you've got opportunities there, just as we spoke with Aussie CAD, you know, trying to pick the highs, pick the lows. It makes sense. A big part of trading is trading what's in front of you, not what you want to happen. I want price to break out. I want to see momentum. I want to see price trending, but that's just not what we got here. So with Euro USD, since we did get the reaction here and a positive one as well, a significant one, you know, really strong 4-hour candle. To me, it looks like Euro could probably just see a push to the higher end of the range now. Again, I wouldn't be looking to try and get involved here. We're approaching resistance, approaching supply. I don't think that's a good idea to be looking to buy anything now. I think if you're looking for opportunities with Euro, you're either waiting for us to return back to resistance for a short, or you're looking for us to get back to the low again for a long. If you're looking to play the range, that is. So something like that. And of course, if you're waiting for breakouts, you're waiting for price to clear the highs or clear the lows. But yeah, in terms of my analysis for Euro, it's pretty much the same. It was still in the range, still respecting support. We did have a really nice rejection there. I was waiting to see if price could break to the downside for either shorts on the breakout or looking for some pullbacks to retest and continue. That was really my plan for the week. Well, my plan for the week was either to the downside or to the upside. But of course, as we continue lower, I was like, okay, maybe price is going to break to the downside now. Of course, we didn't. We respected it very well. And now price is looking quite bullish and perhaps it's going to make a push back to resistance. So I don't see much of an opportunity, even if I drop to the 15-minute chart. Again, even on the 15, this is still where I think the buys will make the most sense. Really nice shift of momentum there, actually. Really nice candle there closing outside that consolidation. And yeah, price has been looking pretty bullish since. But of course, right now, we're heading towards resistance. So not much to do here. Maybe you can take advantage of some shorts here, but I think that's just not the best place for it. Maybe if you're looking for just a quick scalp, sure, I think you can get away with that. Any type of meaningful swing, not the best place to position yourself. Maybe if somewhat of a trend does form here, let's say we start doing something like that, there might be some nice intraday pullbacks along the way. I know we're kind of in ranging environments, but you might get away with that, especially if there's a lot of momentum kind of backing it up on the way back to highs, of course. But yeah, Euro, it looks to me that we can probably see some more upside as the dollar keeps falling as well within the range too. So yeah, that's my take there on Euro. Not a lot to say really. In terms of Pound USD, again, Pound USD trading areas which I'm not the biggest fan of. As I said, coming into the week, this for me is just like a big range as well. Maybe not the clearest one because we've been all over the place, but more or less, you know, significant support here, more or less significant resistance there. Until price does clear the high or price does clear the low, I'm not really interested with Pound personally. And I feel like once we do clear the high, then buys back here will make a lot of sense. And once we do clear the lows, sells back here will make a lot of sense. So either which way, I've got targets. So if price does break up or price does break down, I'm not too bothered because either which way, we're looking at pretty similar distances and pretty similar targets to trade with. In terms of the current price action, if I drop to the 15, I wasn't expecting such an aggressive move yesterday, so that was quite surprising. Of course, we had that weakness kick in for the dollar, and pound rallied, all the USD pairs rallied quite well, or depending if it was like dollar CAD, that of course dropped. But we're looking pretty bullish here. So it looks to me that we've had this impulse. This looks like just a big correction of that. This area of demand held pretty well, and or did spike slightly below, but for the most part, it held pretty well. And of course, price has now rallied through there. So if you're looking for opportunities for pound, if we are going to see a continuation of this, and if price is going to push back to resistance, then similar to euro, I want to see evidence of a trend starting to form. And then we can probably look for some break and retests on the way back to the highs. So from a 50-minute perspective, if momentum can pick up, there might be some nice intraday pullbacks to to look into there. And of course, onto the way to resistance. So yeah, 50-minute chart, momentum's kicking in. That's another strong candle closure there. If that is going to take us higher, there might be some nice break and retests on the way back to resistance. But yeah, my outlook is still to focus on those two areas. So yeah, hopefully that made sense. Anyway, did I miss out a chart? I don't think I did. I did UJ, didn't I? Yeah, I did. So yeah, hopefully that made sense on Euro and pound. Mohammed, what's up? Hope you're well. Yes, we can take a look at pound Aussie, no problem. Pavinator, what's up, my man? Happy Thursday. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, I am in some trades. We can go through them. I'm actually gone through them yet, so we can go through them. I'm thinking of a sell at 0.66244. I'm assuming you're talking about Aussie dollar with that one, but yeah, we can take a look. Lighton, what is good? Hope you're well. New Zealand dollar doing the most. Please check dollar CHF and USD are after request the pairs. No problem. We can take a look at those. Yusuf, yeah, time does fly. It is actually, it's almost the week is over. It's gone really quick. Really, really quick. Before you know, it's the weekend again. But yeah, I'll go through New Zealand dollar. Actually, no, we'll go through Aussie dollar per Pavinator, New Zealand dollar, dollar CHF, dollar ZAR, and pound Aussie. We'll go through those before I do forget where I'm going. But I'll go through my positions first as well. Lebsy, no problem. Happy to help. Already in Aussie CAD longs. Okay, nice. Got around 0.896 yesterday. Target at the equal highs around 0.901. Okay, so back to the high end of resistance. We'll only hold if we take out yesterday's highs. Okay, yeah, I think momentum is a big part because when we are on a range, you don't want us to kind of stagnate too much in the middle. Of course, you want us to keep going. So yeah, evidence of price continue to take out highs. Pushing your favor. It makes sense to keep holding that position, but yeah, I think if you're going to target the highs, target the resistance, it makes sense to me. Okay, so we'll take a look. So I'm in currently two positions. I'm in Aussie yen since when did I enter this one? That was last Thursday, 21st. Was that last Thursday? Or the Thursday before? Last Thursday. See, that's the thing with swing trades. You sometimes forget when you enter them because it's a while ago. But yeah, last Thursday I entered this position. So far, it's a weird one. It's still kind of moving okay, but it's really, really corrective at the top end of this channel. So I'm not super confident that we are going to get the breakout and price is going to continue higher because, of course, that's what I'm looking for. I jumped in there. Trying to anticipate the low end of the channel to try and anticipate the break to the upside. That's the reason I'm in the trade. But we are looking really corrective, just like we did over here. And what happened over here, we did dump to the downside there as well. So I kind of do expect us to push down. I have trailed stops, so there's no risk involved. My new stop loss, my original stop loss was here, but my new stop loss is here. Which is trailed slightly into profit just underneath the low here, just to give me a bit of room. So there's no risk on the trade. So if price does dump to the downside, worst case scenario, I walk away with a break even there, more or less. So I'm not too worried about a position. If it does go against me, of course, I want to see if we can break to the upside. But yeah, I'm kind of more so waiting on yen becoming weak. That's kind of what I'm really waiting for, because if this trend's going to get going, yen has to be weak. It can't be mixed bag. But yeah, Aussie yen longs, I've hopped in that since Thursday, looking remotely good, so hopefully we can continue. And I also hopped in New Zealand CAD shorts, which isn't really seeing the momentum I'm looking for. So if price does end up breaking through resistance here, I probably will just close the position early, because the idea with this trade is that price had the breakout, which was last Wednesday. We've had a retest, nice corrective pullback, and I'm looking for momentum to continue. So I did say yesterday, if that momentum doesn't really get going, I will close the trade early, because the whole idea with this trade is that price has had the quick retest and momentum from here is likely to spill over. But it looks like we're finding support here. and it looks like we're starting to push back up. So if we do start to show evidence of breaking to the upside, well, that really goes against the idea of the trade, because the idea of the trade is that momentum is here, which is why I'm entering there, and I'm expecting that momentum to continue. I mean, it could be a case where price pushes up to resistance, respects it for a double top, and then continues. But I'd rather get out of this position than re-enter once I see evidence of price going in my favor again, rather than hold this position with the hopes that momentum is going to pick up again. So, yeah, unless we suddenly drop this afternoon, I probably will be looking to exit this position a little bit early, take a small loss on this one. There's no need to hold all the way to stop loss, especially when I'm seeing signs of rejection here. So yeah, New Zealand CAD isn't moving too well. I'm still in the position at the moment. We'll see what we do as we approach resistance there, which we held yesterday afternoon. If we do hold that and start to show momentum kicking back in, great, I'll hold the position. I do have a lot of downside expectation for New Zealand CAD back to the lows here and back to the lows here, but momentum isn't really doing what I wanted to do right now, so maybe closing the trade early. But yeah, those are the two positions I'm in right now. New Zealand CAD shorts and Aussie yen longs. I've been eyeing up a lot of USD pairs. I've been eyeing up CAD yen longs as well, but that didn't really do it for me in terms of momentum. I think it's waiting for not spelling that right, am I? I think it's waiting for the yen to really pick up. We have sort of broken out of this wedge pattern, but we haven't really seen momentum kick in yet. So I've been refraining from entering buy positions. But yeah, those are the two positions I'm in. We'll continue to manage them as they go along. But yeah, New Zealand CAD not looking too good. I mean, Aussie yen is looking somewhat good. Just need to see if we can get the breakout. Anyway, we'll go through Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, a bunch of dollar pairs actually, dollar CHF, dollar ZAR as well. And then we can take a look at pound Aussie. Follow the trend. If we close about 3,400 today on gold, we probably will retest 3,430. Yes, I would agree with that. Follow the trend. If we do break through the resistance we're currently trading at, the top end of the channel, the top end of the range is kind of where I expect price to get towards. Morning, Malik. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Good to have you on. Hope you're doing good. And by the way, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe. It does really help out. Hit the bell as well. Share it with your friends. All of that does really help the channel grow. So I do really appreciate it if you guys are enjoying the streams and find them useful. Anyway, let's go through Aussie dollar. So Pavinator, you said you're looking to sell from 0.66244. Whereabouts is that? 0.66244. Okay, that's basically the high up here, which I can't knock you for that. I think that is a smart place for a short. If price does get up there, I think that's a very smart place to take a short opportunity, because the context of the chart is that we're flat. We're not really going anywhere. Of course, there was a slight uptrend here, but it was really corrective, so it's not like we were steamrolling to the upside and seeing convincing momentum. Price was really struggling on the way up, so you can't really read too much into that. Of course, we've seen some moves to the downside, but even that struggled, forming support here. Of course, the news last Friday gave us a really strong shift there, and we've been looking pretty bullish since then. So I did say there's two levels which look interesting for a short, this being one of them at 0.656, and this level being the other one at 0.66. 200, pretty much the area you mentioned there. So either of those areas, I do think we can see a reaction. I wouldn't be so bearish in terms of, okay, once we get to these levels, I'm expecting price to collapse. Absolutely not. We're really, really flat here. So it's more so price getting to a big level where we could react from, and we'll kind of go from there. It might be a small move, something like this, and then maybe price finds support and goes against you, or it could be something where we do have a pretty big move down. I'm not too sure, especially when conditions are flat, direction's not quite there. I wouldn't particularly lead or wouldn't particularly look for big swings, because I don't have anything backing that up. In a trending environment, by default, when a market pull back, you can have a good 60-70% chance that price is going to get back to the low. So I have something I can expect there. when a market is ranging in this manner where there's no real consistencies, you know, I don't really know what we're going to do next, or at least not with good confidence or probability. So both these levels look really good. Depending how we get there, depending on how we react to, of course, justify the trades or not. We have to wait for price to actually get there and respect it to see if it's actually a good position. But yeah, either one of those levels, I do think is some smart areas for a long. As for New Zealand dollar, this one has been a bit flat as well, but we are operating within that descending channel. It looks to me that price is doing a somewhat decent job at respecting the low of the channel, so naturally looking for us to push back to the high of the channel, which again could see us come right back down. You know, this is a descending channel with pretty consistent lower highs, 1, 2, 3. If price is going to continue this pattern, there's a good chance we do end up back in lows. You know, it makes sense for us to push back down, provided we do see adequate rejection here. If of course we do break to the upside, that opens up a new kettle of fish. You know, if price does break to the upside, we could be looking at, you know, somewhat of a push, maybe back to highs as well. So that could be an opportunity within itself. I guess we'll probably speak more about that once we get there and see what type of price action we're getting. For now, it looks like support here is held. We're kind of in the middle of the channel, so not the best place to be looking for entries, in my opinion. But let's see if we can push back to the high of the range and start looking for opportunities there. But that's the best I can see for NZD-USD. In terms of USD-CHF, so this one, again, has been in a bit of a range as well. It looks like it's hinting at a move lower. Since we last spoke, looks like we're starting to pick up momentum even more. So yeah, dollar CHF, very, very flat pair. We've hinted at a break to the downside last week with that big candle. Didn't really amount to much. We climbed back above support. Saw a bit of upside there. Didn't really amount to much either. And now looks like we're trying to break through the floor again. There is one key thing to note that with dollar CHF, we are pretty consistent with these lower highs. So despite the fact that we've been flat, we've also been consistently not reaching the same high, consistently forming lower highs, which means that the bears are slowly taking charge of this market. Because despite the fact that we have been bouncing at support, each bounce has been lower than the last. So there's been evidence that the buyers aren't really showing much conviction. The sellers are showing a little bit more strength there. So if we do see some conviction and price does break the floor well, then I'm looking at dollar CHF coming back to this area and this area pretty soon. And there could be some nice break and retest opportunities. And once we see price breakout, pullbacks, retests, and some pullbacks intraday, I think that's probably the smart trade there for dollar CHF. So yeah, more downside for this pair. Pretty bearish at the moment. I would only be looking to short. I'm not seeing opportunities here. I mean, of course, if price gets back above the range, but I said coming into the week that if I'm looking to buy dollar CHF, I want to see evidence of us breaking higher, and then I'll look for some pullbacks on the way. If price does break to the downside, then that's me bearish on the pair pretty much, and only looking for us to come lower. But let's say if we do miraculously turn bullish and price does start breaking to the upside, great. Then I can start speaking about pretty much the same opportunity, but in the opposite direction. But until then, that's the best we've got. And for USD-ZAR, yeah, USD-ZAR very flat, still respecting support pretty well. Nice bounce there, slightly dipped below, but eventually has held pretty well. Back at resistance again. Would I be looking to short here? No, I wouldn't say we're really at any significant area. You know, this is really where the focus would be. Really powerful level of support. That's where I really want to position myself long. Or of course, if you do break through, position myself short equally. So yeah, USD-ZAR, as I mentioned yesterday, if I'm looking to get involved here, I'm waiting for price to return back to that same area for again another bounce, or again waiting for price to break and retest. I still think there's a good chance we end up back at the lows here, but until we see the break of that level, that's not really on, is it? So yeah, dollar CHF still really flat, still respecting support at 17.48 very, very well. I suggest that's still a smart place for a buy. I'm not so convinced about shorting here. Don't really see much significance there. But yeah, that's what makes the most sense to me at the moment for USD-ZAR. Seems like DXY is going to retest 97.8 to 97.6. Okay, we can have a look at that. Yeah, we can take a look at pound. Oh, I did forget about pound Aussie, didn't I, Mohammed? My bad. Apologies. We'll go through pound Aussie first, then we'll take a look at the dollar. Malik, what is good? Hope you're well. You're good. Good to hear. Entered a nice position trade 2 days ago on EuroCHF. Okay, cool. Stops 0.94. Okay, we can go take a look at that. Currently at break even. Hopefully hits take profit because it's so close. Okay, cool. We'll go take a look at that position. EuroCHF. What's EuroCHF been doing? It's been pretty flat. I think it was bearish a couple of days ago. But yeah, we can investigate, see what's going on in the world of Euro Swiss. But we'll go take a look at pound Aussie first because I did forget that one. So yeah, pound Aussie. I don't have too much to say about pound Aussie. It's I see it in a very simple light, you know, in terms of confined highs and lows. If price does come back to support, great. We can investigate the opportunity for some longs, or of course the opportunity for some breakouts and some shorts if we are gonna, you know, break through the level. And of course the same with the highs as well. Those are the only two areas where I'll be happy to position myself for a trade. I understand that there will be opportunities in the middle of the range, especially the lower time frames you go. I'm looking at the 4-hour chart. If you scale to the 15, I know there's going to be some opportunities, you know, within these pullbacks here, and maybe even within that. Unless you want me to take a look at the 15, let me know. But as for price action here, I don't see much significance. Yes, there is some resistance here, which will be turned support. Maybe we do bounce here, but I wouldn't get my hopes up. We're in the middle of a range. Not the best place to be buying at all or selling. So yes, there might be a bounce. If you're looking for short-term opportunities, I can see the logic there, because if price is going to find support here, we very much could see, you know, price recover and see a push up. And if you just want to be in the trade for a day, I think you can catch an up move for a day. But anything longer, it's can be a bit difficult. So yeah, pound Aussie, those are the areas I'm looking at. Anything else, not really too interested in. Yes, there might be a bit of a bounce here, but I wouldn't be looking for anything major. Okay, so we'll go take a look at the DXY, and then we can go through Malik's position. Or positions, long New Zealand dollar as well. Michelle, what's up? Good morning. Hope you're well. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, New Zealand dollar looking pretty bearish at the moment. New Zealand, did I just say New Zealand dollar? My head's in the clouds. DXY looking really bearish right now. Looks like it's probably just headed back to support. The key thing is we are just continuing this range. So as I've said, until we do break out, I'm not trying to find a trade with the dollar at the moment. Seasoned Greater, you said DXY is going to retest 97.8 to 97.6, which would be around here. So yeah, I would agree. Basically the low end of this range. So yeah, I would agree. It looks like price is headed towards that area. Momentum's just picked up intraday, hasn't it? Yeah, this candle's just picked up some nice momentum. Looks like it's clearing support there to the left. So yeah, we'll see what price does at that support level, because just like what we did yesterday, which is respect the highs, you know, price could look to do the same thing here, respect the lows and bounce again. So although today we're looking really bearish, tomorrow, Friday, we could be looking the exact opposite, bullish again after a solid rejection of support. So in terms of direction, I don't really have that for USD until I do see the breakouts of that area. But for now, yeah, I'm expecting us to return to support, and then we'll see what price gives us. So Malik, you said you're in a EuroCHF position. Are you buying or selling? Well, if your entry is 0.939 and your stops are 0.94, I'll take it that you're shorting. Target's 0.930. 93074. Okay, so that'll be like there-ish. Yeah, very, very close. And your entry was 939. Okay, very nice trade, very nice swing. Okay, so you caught the break and retest of this range here. And stops 0.9407, which would be somewhat just above the highs. So yeah, really nice trade. Risk reward's looking exceptional there. I mean, yeah, very close to targets. You kind of just hope. I think, yeah, I mean, I'll just continue to manage that trade. Are you trading stops? Or are you kind of just letting the trade just hit targets or potentially pull back against you? Because, of course, you're about 90% of the way, or at least, you know, over here, you're definitely like 90%, 95% of the way to your take profit. So is a situation where you kind of just leaving the trade to do its thing, expecting it to hit targets, or are you managing it some way? I know you said you got stops at break even, but even that's still, you know, quite far away. But besides from that, really nice move, lovely breakout there, lovely retest, and price, you know, lovely continuation. So nice, nice catch there. And New Zealand dollar, we'll take a look. So you got long position 0.5854, 5854. That's around there. Target's 0.599. Okay, so that looks like it's the high over there. And stops 5797. Okay, 5797. That would be just underneath the lows here. So yeah, I think that's a smart place for a trade as well. Essentially trying to pick the low of the channel, kind of similar to my Aussie yen trade, in terms of your prices reach the low of the channel. You're looking for a bounce at that low, anticipating a push, you know, back to the opposite side of the channel, and hopefully a break to the upside as well. So very, very similar position to that. And similar place for a stop loss as well at the low there. You're giving yourself some breathing room. I think if USD is going to see some weakness, you should be in the right direction there. We'll see if that does really come into play. But of course, USD weakness is kind of what you'd be looking for here. Of course, at the high of the channel, I'd watch out for that. You know, if price is going to sell off and price is going to put a lower high, then there's a good chance it does form at that area. So it could be a smart decision to see what price does there. If we're looking pretty bearish, we're getting some red flags. Maybe just locking in some gains doesn't necessarily mean you have to exit the trade completely. But I would say managing somehow, some way could be a smart decision there. Especially if your target's at resistance, just above it. You know, if we are going to sell off, there's a good chance it'll be here. So, yeah, protecting yourself against that in terms of partials or stop the break even. I'm sure you got a management plan for that. I would suggest keep an eye out. But yeah, in terms of trading the market, what the market is doing, we are just in this descending channel. Prices had a significant bounce at the low. I do expect us to push at least back to the high of the channel now. Hey, what's up, Bashi? Back from the walk. No problem, Lighton. Happy to help. Definitely liking the setups. Nice. That's good. That's what we want to hear. A June EU played out but didn't tag me. Oh, unfortunate, man. 25 risk reward. Damn. That is a big return to miss out on. But I suppose, again, there's always tomorrow. Thinking of trading, should I? I mean, that's how, again, there's no right or wrong decision, right or wrong method to manage your positions. But for the Euro CHF position, you know, if you look at it in terms of just money management, you know, if you're entering around here and then your take profit, I think was just below the low, generally around here somewhere. Because you've really caught the bulk of the move, it will be very kind of unfortunate for the market to do this, which it could do. I'm not saying it will. It's probably unlikely, but there is still a chance. I mean, if you take enough trades, something like this will happen to you at some point, whatever the strategy you're trading. So this could happen, and yeah, it's just I don't think it's the best way to manage the trade. I know you've gone break even, so there's no risk involved, but being so close to take profit to allow all of this to go back just for the little bit extra, I think doesn't make sense really. So I personally would trail stops, even if it's just like below structure. So, this is like the last leg to go lower. If I had some stops locked in there, that way, worst case scenario, I'm still walking away with whatever this is, in terms of profit. I'm still walking away with that. Rather than walking away break even after actually doing pretty well to catch the move in the first place. You did really well to catch the move. It would be a bit of an unfortunate situation to walk away with nothing after catching a really nice move. And of course, you want to hold to take profits because you had the take profit for a reason at that particular area, and you want price to hit that in terms of your risk to reward. If you're closing out trades early, you're lowering your risk to rewards. It's not going to help you in the long run per se, as long as you're closing them for the wrong reasons, that is. But you do want to have something to manage that, because basically you're risking all of this to try and attain that. So your risk to reward is like a 0.25 right now. So I would have some type of mechanism in terms of either partials, trailing a stop, something of that nature, just to protect myself on the way back down. But again, that is up to you. Yeah, I agree. Don't turn a winning trade into a losing trade, especially when it's winning by that much and it's so close to you take profit. Yeah, I don't want to invoke fear like, oh, the trade's about to turn, because in an hour's time we could be looking really bearish and smashing a take profit and everything is whoop-de-doo. But at the same time, there will be trades, if not this one, but some trade in the future that will go 90% of your favor, and will not even 90, it could be like 60 or 50% in your favor, which is still a decent move to catch in relation to what I'm seeing here. And definitely something you don't want to become losing. At the worst case, a break even, and especially a trade like this. If this trade doesn't turn against you, another one will at some point in time. So that's what I would say. Oh, you're still on the walk, 7 miles. Wow, nice, Bashi. Racking up those steps for the day or for the week, I would say at this point. One trade, well, I mean, I suppose that's the benefit of the risk rewards. Congrats, Bashi, looking really good. Yeah, don't be greedy for like 10 pips, just pay yourself something. Yeah, I agree. Again, there's different ways to do it. Partials, trading stops, a combination of the both of them. Makes sense, but I want to leave room for low. Yeah, again, that's the negative side about trading stops as well, because of course, like I said, there will be some trades that go the distance and then come back against you and you walk away for break even. And of course, there will be some trades that will go the distance, will have a really big pullback, and then go and hit your target. But you might have been trailed out here. Well, that's really awkward drawing there. But you might have been trailed out earlier, and you might miss out on that continuation to hit the take profit. So trading is all about balances. Trading is all about balancing. Sometimes you're gonna have, well, pretty much every time, you'll be risking something to gain something. In this case, if you're trying to gain there, but you're leaving your stop loss here, then you're risking all of that to gain that. That's the comparison. If you're going to trade a stop loss, let's say here, then you're risking this to gain that. But of course, you got less room. So that's another component to think about. And of course, if you take partials, well, of course, that will sabotage your risk to reward in terms of, okay, if your risk to reward is like a 1 to 3, but you partial out along the way, you probably don't actually attain a 1 to 3. Maybe it's more closer to a 1 to 2 potentially. So there's that as well. So it's always give and taking. If that's fine, if you're willing to do that, again, there's no wrong answer or right answer. I'm sure in the long run, it's not going to have such a big impact on your profitability. It's just something to think about, really, and something to test as well, really, because what works on one trade might not work on another one. So it's something just to think about and test. I feel like there's no obstacle holding it to reach targets. But yeah, again, manage it how you want. It's just me, giving an idea. Yeah, I don't want to evoke fear at all. I appreciate it. Bashi. See where to make money, so have logical data, factual way to pay yourself. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Again, trading is just about kind of optimizing everything, optimizing winners, optimizing losers. There's no one way to completely optimize everything, which is really what I'm trying to get home as well. Because, there will be trades will have bigger pullbacks and you do get stopped out early and then they go in your favor. So the person who didn't trail stop losses is walking away with the full win, but the person who did trade a stop loss is walking away with maybe half or even a quarter potentially. So there will be scenarios where that happens. And of course, there will be scenarios where the person who is trading walks away with half their returns and the person who isn't trading walks away with break even and no money. So over the course of maybe 100, 200 trades, there might not be much difference. In terms of equity curve, the person who's trading might have a slightly healthier one in terms of more kind of stagnant wins and consistent growth. The person who kind of opts for this approach might have a bit more swings about it because you win big or not win at all, really. But of course, in terms of trajectory, if you've got profitable edge, profitable strategy, you're still gonna make a return, which is the most important thing. But yeah, how you manage it is going to be up to you, of course. Is there any pairs I've missed out on? I feel like there might have been. Don't think so. Did I look at gold earlier? I know I did the start, but I don't know if I did again. Okay, cool. Really good advice. I appreciate it. No problem. Yeah, no problematic. Happy to help. There's a lot of people do try and advocate for like one way of trading, which it doesn't really make sense. There is no one way to trade. There's so many different ways, and I think the big thing is as well. There's no necessary right way or wrong way. At the end of the day, we're all trying to make a return, a profit, and however you do that is technically the right way, isn't it? So it's just ideas, test different things. Other people might find a certain way of managing trades or entering or exiting trades works really well for their style and the way they like to trade. Other people, that might not be the case. Maybe psychologically as well, it might not be brilliant for them. If you kind of look at successful traders and study them, you can see there's so many different ways to do the same thing, really. So it's just really just about kind of finding out what works for you, what you enjoy, what you like doing, what makes trade comfortable and easier to do, and sticking with that and getting better at it, really. But the news today, I'm kind of hoping for a little bit of, look at dollar's really poking its head to the downside there. So we are looking quite bearish at the moment. But yeah, we are coming back into support here. So it's back to square one. Do we bounce here or do we break through? Hopefully we can find that out later today. We do have, isn't it jobless claims this afternoon? And I think GDP maybe? Or is that tomorrow? So yeah, jobless claims 1:30 UK time. Yeah, GDP as well. 1:30 UK time as well. So we do have some events here which could cause USD to move. I think if anyone is trading USD, keep an eye on that. Oh yeah, all different ways to trade and stuff. They all work all time frames to just down to the individual. To be honest, yeah, I fully agree with that. I fully agree. A lot of people do get lost in the source of strategies and entries. Um, Effectively, it's all the same thing. You know, we're all trading the same markets. Essentially, you're trying to take advantage of when the market's going to go up, when the market's going to go down. Yeah, essentially the market is 50-50 really. It's either going to up or down. Of course, it could go sideways as well. But even then, it'll eventually will go up or will go down. And no matter how you come up to a conclusion, if the market is going to go up or down, if you're in the right direction, you're in the right direction. If you're in the wrong direction, you're in the wrong direction. And I think trading's all about just minimizing losers, maximizing winners. Whatever your approach is, I think that's the fundamental outline that every trader pretty much will adopt. Is, you know, how can I win bigger? How can I lose less or less often? Either which way. Hoping for weak jobs data. Friday PC, yeah. Friday we got news as well. Let me have a look. See. Got some Euro news as well. But yeah, PCE on Friday, 1:30 UK time. We've got GDP for CAD as well. That should be interesting. And Michigan consumer sentiment late in the afternoon as well. Okay, trade New York today. How come you trade in New York, Bashi? Yeah, people have cultish mindset, always right. Exactly, yeah, if so, show some win rate and high gains. Yeah, yeah, it's the battle of the social influence, isn't it? Malik, what extent do you focus on fundamentals when analyzing the charts and taking the trade? Very minimal, Malik, pretty much like 1%. Anything I'm really interested in is news releases when they come out. But in terms of like direction of anything, I'm purely technicals. Oh, that is dropping fast. 7%, 5%, 7%, 4%. No worries, Bashi. I mean, I'm about to wrap up the stream anyway. I will catch you later. Well, I'll be with I'll be on Nick's stream later this afternoon, but if not, hopefully we'll see you tomorrow or whenever I see you. Transparency. I mean, it's his approach to trading. I mean, everyone who trades is gonna advocate for their way of trading, of course. And yeah, I mean, he's very, very. I mean, the thing is, he does focus on technicals quite a lot as well, to be honest. Because of course you need technicals to actually enter the market, targets, managing positions. You know, that is all technicals really. But in terms of course coming up with his bias, he's very, very fundamental based on that. So his course. He's going to advocate for that, show how people he trades with fundamental bias, how he comes up with a bias, of course. You know, a software user, which of course he does develop, but I'm sure he uses it to a good, yeah, to really help his bias and help determine his trades. But again, there's just more than one way to trade. All you have to do is just look at, you know, other people, not even on social media. I'm just talking about, you know, people who you see on like market wizards. So many different types of traders, genres, and each of them, yeah, very, very successful. So it's quite clear that there's many ways to tackle it, many ways to go about it. And yeah, it's up to you. It's up to your preference how you want to trade it. You can focus on fundamentals. That adds a lot of layers to trading, which technicals won't have, and vice versa. Technicals have layers which fundamentals won't have as well. Pick your poison really and go for it. That's my advice. Malik, do you play FPL? Yeah, I do. Do you play FPL? How's your FPL looking? Willem, okay, take care, my man. Heading out, no problem. Hopefully see you tomorrow. If not, take care and have a... I was about to say have a good weekend. It's not Friday, it's Thursday. Yeah, 2%. You're about to drop out there, Bashi. But yeah, take care, Bashi. I appreciate it. We'll catch you tomorrow, man. Respect for recognizing there are different ways to trade. Make different trade because some trades, some resistance doesn't mean you trade other strategy doesn't. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the way it is. I mean, it's the reality of the situation. There's so many different ways to trade. I mean, I don't know them all. Many people on the stream ask me about ICT, SMC. I don't know. I've never really studied those ways to trade. All I can assure you that is with trading, you're always looking for areas to buy, areas to sell from. However you derive that, whether it's fundamentals, technicals, sentiment, lunar cycles, however that is. If you're in the right direction, you're in the right direction. If you're wrong, you're wrong. And the aim of the game: maximize winners, minimize losers. Gee, first 2 game weeks of the season. Okay, looking good. Yeah, mine's not going too well, to be honest. Mine's not going too well. I need to improve. Anyway, guys, we have come to the end of the end of the season, end of the session. I really do appreciate each and every one of you tuning into the stream and chatting with myself. If you have enjoyed it, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. Share with your friends, hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. If you haven't checked out the Zenthrix community Telegram, make sure you go do so. I have pinned it at the top of the chat. It's an AI project we've been working on to help benefit retail traders in the space, whether creating bots, trading, creating indicators as well, and so much more. So if you are interested, check it out. Link to that right at the top of the chat. But guys, really appreciate you tuning into the stream. I will be live on Actually Trade Nick's channel later this afternoon. So if you want to see my reaction to the news this afternoon, do look out for that. That's on his channel, but I will be back on my channel this time tomorrow on Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. as always. But guys, appreciate you tuning in. Have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.
Introducing Zenthrix AI-powered trading signals service. Tired of second-guessing your trades? Zenthrix AI scans the markets 24/7 with powerful, proven indicators built to give you clarity. You get 200+ signals every day on 15-minute, 1-hour, 4-hour, and daily charts. We cover Forex, crypto, commodities, indices, and stocks, so you're covered no matter what you trade. And the best part, you get all this delivered 3 ways, every day. Web alerts give you fast, clean access right from your dashboard. Telegram delivers real-time entries, confidence levels, sentiment, and trade duration. And email gives you the full breakdown, including 2 profit target levels and deep market analysis. Just hold $5 worth of ZTR. See what you can achieve with powerful AI trading intelligence by Zenthrix. Try it now. And join our Telegram channel.